This is Andre Ward, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Jesse Burgess, the WBA World Champion. You're
Tell you what, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
This is Dante Williams, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, ever since Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, they selected their next opponents for September and November, you've heard a lot of fans say stuff like, no one wants to watch Mayweather-Maidana. That's a garbage fight, so on and so forth. I won't pay for it. We've heard people say the same things about Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri, right? So the big question is, who will do the better pay-per-view numbers? And what will the success of the pay-per-view numbers be based on? Will they be based on who's facing the better competition? Who's more liked? Which fight is more entertaining or exciting? I mean, these are things that we have to look at, right? So whatever fighter generates the better numbers, the better pay-per-view numbers out of the two, Mayweather versus Pacquiao, the consensus would be that fighter is facing the better competition, right? Now, I'm just going to assume that the majority of us believe that Floyd Mayweather will do better numbers than Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri. That's just an assumption. If we are once again looking at the history of Manny Pacquiao's pay-per-view numbers and Floyd Mayweather's numbers, one could easily draw the conclusion that Floyd Mayweather will do better numbers than Manny Pacquiao. Now, even though it's a very good chance Floyd Mayweather will do better numbers than Manny Pacquiao, I have a feeling Floyd probably won't crack 1 million pay-per-views. Now, don't get me wrong, even though Floyd Mayweather had like somewhat around 900,000 pay-per-view sales against the first Maidana fight, now that's still the highest pay-per-view numbers of the year. Okay, so he still finishes in first place when it comes to pay-per-view numbers. So if you think about it, even when Floyd Mayweather generated 900,000 pay-per-views, he wasn't really competing with anyone else in the sport because no one else is doing 900,000 pay-per-views. He's really competing with himself. It's kind of like the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, capturing first place in a race, but yet he doesn't have his best time. So really, if he's disappointed because he didn't do better than he usually does, but he did better than everyone else on the track. That's the situation that Floyd Mayweather is in right now. Unless Manny Pacquiao changes that and he generates better pay-per-view numbers than Floyd. So, you know, like I said, I don't believe either one of these fighters will crack 1 million pay-per-views. And I know this may sound crazy, but this may actually help the sport more than hurt the sport for both of these fighters to get lower numbers than they are expecting to get. And I'll explain why in the next video that I'm going to do. But if it were really true that no one was planning on watching the Floyd Mayweather fight against Marcos Maidana, then that would mean Floyd Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana would do Canelo-type numbers. 300,000 pay-per-views. That would be the true meaning of no one wanting to watch the fight. Okay? But once again, if he does 900,000, 950,000, close to 1 million, then that defies the decaf's perception. Man, if only every fighter got treated equally, right? I mean, I'm hearing fans say that Canelo, yeah, he only did 300,000 pay-per-views, and yeah, it was lower than what he generated prior, but hey, who cares? I mean, people love the guy, so on and so forth, right? Wouldn't it be nice if a fighter like Floyd Mayweather could get 900,000 pay-per-views and not be criticized? Wow, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But I guess we're going to have to wait till eternity for that to actually happen. And once again, before I end this video, to the Manny Pacquiao fans and the many Floyd Mayweather detractors, I want you guys to understand, you guys started all this criticizing who's considered a good opponent, who's cherry picking, and all of this type of talk. you guys created this, okay? If you guys never created this, no one would ever be talking about so-and-so's cherry picking, or at least it wouldn't be front page type of boxing talk like it is now. So I just want you guys to understand that. My parents always taught me to treat people the way you want to be treated. And that also goes for treat certain boxers the way you want the boxers that you like to be treated. Does that make sense? The reason why it was big news throughout all the websites when Manny Pacquiao did his lowest pay-per-view numbers, and I'm talking about barely even cracking 500,000 against Brandon Rios, it was once again because when the fans go on this hate tirade talking about nobody likes Floyd, nobody wants to watch him, and this and that and all this kind of stuff, and Manny Pacquiao is the man that everyone loves, and he's the only guy that people wants to watch, so on and so forth. Talking like that, that's what makes that news become big news when it comes to his pay-per-view numbers. Okay? If it wasn't for the hype, it wouldn't be a big deal that Manny Pacquiao's numbers were extremely low. So once again, treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat other fighters the way you want your fighters to be treated. I'm on to the next one.